Belief is not a choice. It is the pulse beneath thought, the drug our mind cannot refuse. Even those who say they believe in nothing believe in that very nothingness, and it shapes them. The brain cannot live without faith. It clings to ideas as lungs cling to air. That is why I tell the young, know what you believe before your belief knows you. Because if you do not name it, it will name you. For belief does not merely rest in us. It builds us, drives us, blinds us. It commands empires and burns cities. It turns men into gods and gods into men. And there is no better proof of this than Julius Caesar. Plutarch tells us that Caesar was born of noble blood, yet surrounded by decay. He watched senators betray the republic for wealth, and generals trade loyalty for glory. From that chaos came his belief that Rome's salvation lay not in debate, but in destiny. He claimed descent from Venus, the goddess of love, and he wore that myth like armor. To Caesar, greatness was not ambition, it was inheritance. And when belief becomes inheritance, the child does not choose the god chooses the child. When he marched through Gaul, the world began to bend around him. Appian wrote that his victories seemed inevitable, as if heaven itself followed his banner. Each triumph fed the fire of destiny. When he crossed the Rubicon and said, "The die is cast," it was not courage, it was faith. He no longer believed he could fail. He believed he could not. To his soldiers, he was invincible. To Rome, he was salvation. To himself, he was already divine. By the end, Caesar no longer questioned. Those who loved him called it confidence. Those who feared him called it madness. But to him, belief had become peace. Tom Holland writes that Caesar's self-faith became its own religion. The Senate was his altar, the people his worshippers, the Republic his temple. And in every act of mercy, in every decree of law, there hid the addict's whisper, "I am necessary." Plutarch tells us that on the eve of his death, Caesar dreamed he soared among the gods. When he entered the Senate that morning, he entered like a god returning to his temple. But the believers were waiting. The daggers fell not from hatred, but from faith betrayed. Et tu, Brute, not a cry of shock, but understanding. In that moment, he saw that his belief had left his body long ago. The blades that pierced his flesh were only freeing it. His death was not the end of belief. It was its coronation. For Rome would never again believe in freedom, only in power. Caesar's story is not ancient. It is eternal. Belief does not die with the believer. It survives, evolves, finds new hosts. The Romans worshipped destiny. We worship reason, progress, technology, but it is the same God wearing new faces. The question is not whether you believe, but what already believes through you. Because belief builds civilizations, commands wars, and shapes every click, every scroll, every choice. That is why I built Ecclesia, a place to see belief clearly before it conquers you unseen. Man conquers nature, but belief conquers man.